Hey guys, Ryan here from the Hustle and Grind podcast. Today we have a great guest, Cleveland Brownlee. You know him from the London Majors baseball team, but also he is a business leader in our community with the Better Bin Company. He's also a huge community advocate, does a lot with Business Cares Food Drive. He's a part of the London Chamber of Commerce. We get into it a lot with Cleveland in terms of, the importance of building relationships, how you lead a team, how you actually make a difference in your community, as Cleveland is part of this new, younger group of entrepreneurs and business owners who are really leading the way for our city and creating some positive change and challenging, the typical way that things have been done in our city of London, Ontario, Canada. Talk a bit of baseball as well. My boy Scotty wants to get into some baseball with Cleveland, and that's cool because we definitely look into the mindset of how you connect a mindset of sports and how it relates into the mindset of business as well. I think you're really going to love this episode. We're excited to bring this to you. Let's go. What do you think? You give her?
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Okay. You going to do this? All right. Cool. All right. Cleveland Brownlee here from, good to have you on, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for, taking the time out of your day to have me.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. It's, it's been a long time coming for sure. I got some notes, but I don't have 3 pages of notes. Actually, you know what's funny? You see how my notes are really big?
I was going to say something about that.
I used to have, when we started this thing, I had 3 pages of notes. And you know what happened is that I had to get these fucking glasses. And now, I don't want to put on glasses and take them off to read my notes. So I just made big words like business community. There's
you should see
italicized.
You should see the font on Ryan's phone.
Yeah. So no glasses on this episode, but man. And then hey, we got two baseball guys. So I just want to be clear. This isn't a baseball podcast, but we could do that later, right? But we do want to talk about baseball for sure because that's a big part of your brand. But no, man, welcome. Thanks for coming on. It's gonna be a good combo for sure because there's a lot that we can kind of cover.
Sure.
And I know you personally through some other business dealings for sure, but there's a lot that we haven't talked about, and I know Scotty wants to kind of.
There's a lot we have too.
Yeah, a lot we have actually off mic. We were looking at your London Majors rings there too. We'll probably have to put that up on our socials. Pretty cool. But why don't we start with Cleveland Brownlee, the local London celebrity baseball guy, but then I think also there's a whole lot more to you when it comes to business. It's an entrepreneurial business community podcast. There's so much that you're involved in in the London community, but I want our audience kind of get to know you a little bit more and your origin story, how you ended up in London, Ontario, Canada, because you could have gone a lot of directions and a lot of different places. So why don't you give us a bit of background if you don't mind? Is that cool?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I always like to tell the people it was a journey to get here, So from Atlanta, Georgia, so Southern style, we always say that it takes a community to raise a child. So that's how I try to, do my day-to-day things, do everything I can for the community. So grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, went to university there, Clark Atlanta University, graduate there, business marketing. So I'm proud of my alma mater there. So
nice.
I love that. Anytime I can represent Clark Atlanta University, I always say
Clark
that.
Atlanta University.
Yeah, so
nice.
Downtown Atlanta, historically black college and university. So one of the top rated in the world. So
sweet.
Yeah, we're proud of that. We stand behind that.
It's awesome, man.
So you know what? Grew up in Atlanta. My family, everybody's from Atlanta, Georgia, and I had a big support growing up. Through baseball, through school. My dad pushed me in school to, just be the best I can. And he did that actually on the baseball field as well. So that's what kind of led me to coming to Canada. I'll say in college, I didn't get drafted. Played great, had some great numbers, but coming from a Division II school is kind of hard when you got thousands of kids that play Division I or NAIA schools, and they're considered like a sports school. So that was a long journey for me there. Ended up going to an open tryout in Atlanta, Georgia. I was frustrated. My dad owned his own little renovation company, construction, and
Okay.
I was working with him. Got a phone call from a guy. I still remember this day. Got a phone call from a guy named Brian Nelson. So Brian actually runs a baseball school now in Atlanta, Georgia. And every time I get a chance, I send him a message and, just thank him for, helping change my life.
Yeah.
So he says, hey, I heard you didn't get drafted or you didn't get signed by anybody. He says, but I heard you just need an opportunity to showcase what you can do. I was already frustrated. A lot of my friends had got drafted that year, all of that kind of stuff. I had just about thrown my glove away, all of that stuff.
Man.
Walked back in the house, told my dad, I said, hey, this guy just invited me to an open workout. I really want to go.
Yeah.
You know what? My dad he was proud of me. I still remember we put the tools down that day and he was like, let's go to the baseball field. Let's get a little bit more work in, before you go out there. We went and worked that day before. The next day, went out to the tryout, and I know I look big on camera now, but I was a little slimmer then, and I could run. I could run back then, so I prided myself on running and hitting. And I still remember I went to the tryout, and the first thing they do is a lot of kids out there. They're from all over. And they said, we want to see you run.
Yeah.
And so they matched me up with a guy, and, I dusted him away. I blew him away. And everybody was shocked to see a guy my size. They didn't expect it at all.
Really?
And so the guy says, you
Love
really
that.
think you're fast, huh? And I was like, well, I can run.
faster than him.
I'm faster than these guys. And still remember he matched me up with another guy, and that guy had just been blowing everybody away in his position.
Yeah.
And he put me against him, and I think that was the fastest time I ever ran. And everybody was shocked. I saw him whispering on the field.
Yeah.
And then we make it on to throwing, and I threw average, but then when we got to the hitting, I said, this is where I really stand out at. And, I still can remember out of 30 pitches that we got, I think I hit 12 or 13 home runs over the fence.
Holy shit, man.
And everybody in the stands was cheering me on, telling me congratulations, everything. And it's 300-400 kids out there at that time.
No one else is putting 13 bombs.
No one else that day, honestly. It's not bragging anything, but no one else that day hit like I did.
So you want to find a way to stand out. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So you said something just about when you were getting ready to go hit. And you're like, this is my time to shine, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your self-talk and self-belief and confidence when you're getting ready to step in there? Because I've got 3 boys who play ball.
Yep.
And stepping into the box is a mindset.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't have the right self-talk, you're leaving some shit on the table.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? I always say, a guy taught me a long time ago, it's just like you're going to work, you're checking into that office. When you get in that box, you clear everything out of your mind. And, you clear everything out, and it's just, you're fully focused on, hey, I need to do my best out here. I can't let that pitcher see that I'm nervous or anything. We already prepared for it. We've been doing this at practice. We've been working on this for months to come. You're in that box now, you get that chance. And I always bring it back and people laugh at me. And they say, what do you think about when you go in there? And I always drift back to like one of my favorite rappers, Lil Wayne. He says he wakes up in the morning, he looks in the mirror, and he says, he points at it and says, if I'm not the hottest, then it must be you. And the mirror always points back at yourself.
Yeah.
And I always think about that and say, you know what? I'm the best out here. I want to be the best on the field. I want people to know who I am. I got to figure out a way to stand out and show people that I can do this. Baseball is about failure. A lot of it is about failure, man.
Yeah.
You're going to fail so many times before you succeed. So, they say, what's the difference between an average player and a great professional player? They do it so many times till they can't get it wrong anymore. And that's what I try to teach my son and other kids and things like that. Let's practice on this so many times that we don't get it wrong anymore. Yeah. We just continue to get it right and keep
when
pushing.
we do, it's part of the game.
It's part of the game.
It's not gonna derail
exactly
the next at bat, the next defensive side of the ball. Like it's part of the game.
For sure. It's part of the game. It's part of growing. It's part of understanding. Everything is based off numbers, statistics, and you just got to outlast it. That's what I say, outlast it.
And, Ryan's like, oh, here we go. We're on the whole baseball tour.
What? I'm actually...
But it's so relatable.
It's relatable to
so
business.
Relatable.
And I'm glad we're actually going down. I'm glad you asked that, because it is something that, we've got Cleveland here, an elite athlete, why don't we dive? Like, we should be diving into that. The mindset of sports is very relatable to
sure.
the mindset of business, right?
Yeah.
And that self-talk. And I mean, yeah, even in business, right? You got to get up in the morning. You got to, if you're having a shitty day, your clients don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care, man.
No.
So you got to get into game mode, whether that takes you an hour, whether it takes you 10 minutes, whether you're jumping out of bed ready for the day, or it takes you a couple hours to kind of get into it. You have to eventually get into that mindset, right?
For sure. And I'll say, just like you said, it takes it full circle. And if we put it into the business mode here, people always say, and how did you start working here as a career or anything?
Yeah.
Baseball actually got me to Canada. You know, the owner of our company, Jim Graham, I met him through baseball.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing a fundraiser here at the Eco Park for a kid we were raising money for. I still remember he was raising money to help fund the surgery for a kid that had a brain surgery.
Wow.
And that's how I met Jim at the Eco Park doing a fundraiser with my uniform on. And he told me that day, if you ever want to move to London, you just give me a call. We'll find a job for you.
That's awesome, man.
And full circle.
Yeah.
You give me a couple years,
Yeah.
I placed that phone call. Jim, I'm here.
Yeah.
Let's talk. I'm here.
That's and so we're talking about Jim Graham, the CEO and owner of Try Recycling, and then Better Bin Company. You're kind of the face and the GM, and you kind of wear about 10 different hats. Obviously, with that company, right? That we
I
get
can't
into.
believe that, like, because we had Jim on.
Yeah, we did have Jim on.
Like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Like, what a
we did have Jim on. I know it is a great connection, and so that's great, man. I mean, you talk about we talk a lot about networking and the power of networking. Sports obviously allows you to do that. I've experienced that in my own business, coming back from the States where I had a hockey career and back in London. Your network is here. You came here without a network, so you kind of had to create and build that, which I've seen you do that from a community point of view, from a business point of view. You're very good at that, and I imagine that being pulled in all those different directions. How do you manage that? Everyone wants a piece of Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's in business, whether it's in sports, whatever. I mean, I've always been fascinated with how long we've known each other, with how you balance those things. Like, can you talk a little bit about that, the balance? And
you know what? You got to have that work-life balance, and to me, it's like, you got to want to do it. Yeah. That's what I want to do. I want to leave that legacy behind, so that my son says, you know what? My dad, he did this. My dad was here. My dad helped this organization out. My dad worked a full-time job. He played baseball. Yeah. That's my balance there. If I could, I came from a community that struggled. I saw my mom, dad, brother, sister, all of them work hard all their life to, keep the lights on, to keep all the bills paid and stuff. We didn't have too many people that came back to our community that showed us love, that showed us that, there's a way out. So that's how I try to guide my life. I always say, you know what, I'm fortunate. I didn't make it to the big leagues. I didn't make it to the Blue Jays or, the Braves, Yankees, nothing like that. But to me, being here in London, that's my big league. Yeah. When I walk out there on that field, those kids look at me like I'm the best person in their eyes. They don't know no difference between me and a Jays player at that time when they're that young. Yep. And I keep a smile on my face. You always want to just help somebody out. Back in my earlier career, I worked for the Martin Luther King Center back in Atlanta, Georgia. So we did tours and stuff on, like his life and heritage and history and everything. And I still remember a lady coming in and she said, you know what, I grew up in the North. We didn't learn too much about the South and how things were. So during that time, I listened to so many speeches just being around and listening to the audio tapes of Dr. King and everything. Yeah. And he always pushed one main point: service for others. What are you doing for others?
Love it.
And that's how I try to carry my life. What am I doing for the community to help somebody out? Whether I'm just showing up saying good morning, hi, or putting a smile on a kid's face. You never know what that changes about a person, what they're going through at that moment, and what you can do for that person. The world is hard right now. I tell everybody, the world is hard right now. Yeah. Walk in every day in that building, no matter what you're going through, and you walk through that door, say good morning, say hi. My grandmother always taught us that. Say hi to somebody, say good morning. That little bit there, you can change somebody's day. And that's how I look at business. I try to change somebody's day, solving a problem, saying hi, doing anything I can possibly do, and, just carry on, man. I keep the biggest smile on my face. Nobody knows some of the pains and everything I go through, but why show you that's for me to solve.
Yeah.
But when I'm out in the world, I gotta wear that Superman cape to show that, hey, we can make this, we can do this together.
So obviously that job,
Mm-hmm.
listening to all those tapes, giving the tours, you know, that is that the service first sort of roots, or is there anything else kind of in your background where it's like, no, this is just the right thing to do?
Yeah, you know what? I was raised like that. My grandmother, grandfather, and my father. My father and brother, they were the biggest advocates of that. You know what? It's not about the money or anything. We grew up cutting our neighbor's grass. You weren't getting paid or anything. Your neighbors were older. They were elderly. You're going to cut their grass. You're going to carry their groceries in. You're going to open the door for them. They walk outside carrying their trash. No, you're going to put down whatever you're doing. You're going to go over there and help them out. That's how my dad still lives to this day. My dad's 75 years old. If he can give you the shirt off his back, he will. He's barely walking. I tell him that all the time. Like, Dad, why are you carrying that stuff for people? He's like, you got to do it. You got to do it. I'm like, you're barely moving, though. But it's just the way we were raised. You got to help others out. If you don't do it, then that cycle continues and things just come to a stop. We have so much hate in the world that things will come to a stop. Help people out. Let's see what we can change.
Yeah, it's
Love that.
I love that mindset because I've kind of had to struggle with that myself in business. Like when I became a business owner and entrepreneur, it's
For
like
sure.
you grow, you make money, it's revenue driven. You know, the purpose driven, the service leadership kind of came after, and it's I think it might be something a lot of business owners might struggle with is that like, well, you need to make revenue. It's about making money or else you don't have a business, right?
For sure.
But what's interesting is that, you know, it's a bit of a paradox when as soon as you do start, you know, having this purpose-driven mentality and just helping people cutting the lawn without expecting any money or whatever.
Yeah.
Ironically, and it might sound woo-woo or whatever, but it does kind of come back around. And it's weird how that is. Yeah. But it's almost like this this mentality shift that, I mean, I've experienced and you're talking about, and you do it so well, where being involved in the community is good for business.
For sure. It's a game plan. It's a
Yeah.
game plan. You follow that game plan. Stick with the plan. It will play out.
Yeah.
Everybody's not meant to win overnight. You got to play the long game, and it's a long race, man. You just gotta wait it out. Your turn's coming.
Yeah.
Your turn is coming. Just prepare for when it gets there. That in your mind you've already won.
Yeah.
You know, you just when it gets there, you're looking at that next step.
Well, and I think, and the three of us being, well, the four of us Dukes in here too. I mean, all being kind of like sports-minded people. We've all played sports and that sort of thing. The sport mentality is a win-lose kind of mindset. You either win or you lose. I mean, you win the game, you lose the game, right? And in business, I think it's good to have that mindset, but also all things can be true where there can be a lot of winners. Like there doesn't necessarily have to be losers. And we talk about this with collaborating with other like-minded businesses or, you know, and that collaboration. I think that's kind of an interesting concept too, where, you know, it doesn't have to be this kind of, net zero sort of like win-loser thing. It's that there can be a lot of winners. And I think that when you start to understand that, and for those listening, new business owners, you don't have to be the best marketing agency, the best, recycling. Like you don't necessarily always have to be the best, but like you said, if you can just stick to your game plan and stay in your lane, gives a shit what other people
Well,
are
and
doing.
when you look after people, right? When you have that service first mindset, you know what? Like, oh, this wasn't in the contract.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is just the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
It's just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it. And I think it's not necessarily just about, you know, Ryan, you say the wins and the losses, but like even just in internal decisions as you're making, as you operate your business, right? Playing to not lose is different than playing to win.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes you gotta lay out for a ball.
Yeah, lay out for it.
You gotta fucking lay out for a ball.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're not gonna come up with it every time.
Yeah.
But man, when you do, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Right? It's awesome. But that's like on the side of the ball game, like that's why you're playing the game. Like, what else are we doing out here?
What else are we doing?
Like,
Exactly.
if I'm not willing to lay out for a ball, like what else am I doing out here?
Love it, man.
You gotta be willing to like play like play the game,
Yeah,
For sure.
totally.
right?
You know what?
Yeah.
I look at one of the organizations I help out here with, the Business Cares Food Drive.
Yes.
You know, that's probably the biggest business cares food drive across Canada right now.
In London.
In London,
shout out to
in
Wayne
London.
Dunn.
Shout out to Wayne Dunn for putting that on.
Absolutely.
And you know,
Mhm.
all of us, like you say, it's not about the wins on that one, because all of the business captains, we push each other to see who's going to get the most money, who's going to gather the most food. But at the end of the day, by us pushing each other, we won for just more than ourselves. We won for the city. We won for
Yeah.
different municipalities.
Yeah.
All that food and money we raised is helping people that are in need.
Yeah.
So that is the win for me.
So the Business Cares Food Drive, I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad you brought that up, because you've been a very integral part of that for many years.
For many
right?
years, yeah. Mhm.
And that's where there's about 40 grocery stores.
Yeah, we have every grocery store in
Yeah.
London, and
Yeah.
we stand outside,
Right.
and we stand outside for that weekend, and we collect as many food donations
Mhm.
and monetary donations as there is possible. And
Yeah.
you know what? Like I
pretty
say,
incredible.
we collect more on that weekend than I think they do, you know, across a couple months
Yeah.
doing it. And it doesn't, like I say, it doesn't just help out London. It helps out all those surrounding areas that people don't talk about that are struggling as well.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. I mean, it makes you, really kind of grateful for, but at the same time, it is, and this past year was my first year doing it, and I just felt like, as a business owner in London, this is really just kind of a responsibility of
For
mine.
sure.
Like it shouldn't even be a choice, and as I got involved in it, I'm realizing, man, like, yeah, this small little, my grocery store, this small little amount of food and donations is really going to help. So that all collabs and comes together. And like you said,
sure.
it's all, it's a big team effort. So that was really cool to be part of.
Yeah.
for
No,
sure.
man, I'll do it every
Yeah,
year. I'll do it every
no,
year.
That's great.
What weekend is that?
It's usually that first weekend in December or last
Yeah.
weekend going into December. And we get over 1,000 volunteers out there that weekend, and it's a push. It is a real push.
Yeah, that's great.
Love it.
Hey guys, I just want to take a second to talk a little bit about my own company, Momentum 360 Marketing. Momentum 360 Marketing actually powers the Hustle and Grind podcast. Super proud of what we've done. But to give you a little bit of info on my own company, Momentum 360, we're an SEO company. We dive into AEO now, answer engine optimization. We build websites, social media plans, content plans, and we've helped hundreds of companies actually become discoverable and drive traffic to their business. So if you want to learn more, hit me up or go to momentum360.ca and check it out.
Momentum 360 marketing. Get seen, get found, get moving.
I want to ask you about the Better Bin Company, because that is your, you're this, that's the company you work for, but essentially you're kind of like an entrepreneur within that company, because it is skeleton crew. And a few of you really drive this business.
For sure.
And it has been around for a while. What's interesting is that, and I've got these insights because we are, my company is kind of helping with some of the marketing. So I know that it's going to come on the scene pretty aggressively here pretty soon, but it's been around for a while. And you've been really, pushing that boulder up the hill with building this brand. Can you talk about how you got involved with, we talked about Jim Graham and how with Try Recycling, but how did that start, and the evolution of, this company, the Better Bin Company, and what that's all about?
Yeah, so the Better Bin Company started in 2012, and to me, when I look back on everything, it was a dream that those guys had, that they allowed me to bring it to light for them. They allowed me to be creative and open up and do the things that I saw necessary to help push this brand. So if you guys don't know, it's a 6.6 cubic yard bin that a lot of residents use now, and then home builders. So that was our biggest market, the home builders. So we have about almost every major home builder across London, St. Thomas, all the way up to Guelph down there, using our bins now. So I think last time I checked, we had just over 2,000 something bins out on different sites across Southern Ontario.
Yeah, and if you're in London and now in Kitchener, you've seen these.
Yeah, you've seen these
because
out.
it's not. It's the. Can you explain it? Because it's very proprietary. It's very unique. It's not like a big metal ugly bin on your driveway.
Right. So it's a 6.6 cubic yard bin, and like I said, it's made out of a cloth-like material that we allow you to put it inside of garages that we can pull out. New home builds, they love to use it. Doesn't mess up your lawns, things like that, and it's easy to carry around site. And we make it so easy that anybody can do it. You know, with that metal bin, you only get it for 7 days, hours. We'll allow you to get it into your projects complete. You know, you leave it on that job site to your projects complete. Residents will give you 30 days for it, all in flat price, things like that. We just want to make it as easy as possible to get that material out of your house into a place, and we try to dispose of everything as responsibly as we can.
Yeah.
You know, everything can't be recycled, but we try our best to get it to a place. We try our best not to go directly to landfills most of the time, or, you know, in some different municipalities, you're buying to some rules, you know, but if we can avoid it, we try our best to take it to those recycling facilities. It's almost like that circular economy that we push. We try to keep things in motion, keep it going back and forth. And people are really catching on to it. It's a great product, easy to use, easy to rent. You call us, we deliver it. And a lot of our proceeds throughout the year, people don't realize, we don't advertise a lot, but we get back to so many charities from the things we do. I do all kind of golf tournaments and everything. 100% of those proceeds go right back to charity.
Awesome.
We don't take anything in company. We don't collect any of that money, keep for ourselves, none of that. All of that's going back into our community, whether it's here, whether it's Kitchener, all of that. I put that money right back into the community for little kids teams, for any kind of fundraisers that are coming up, all kind of things like that. I put that back in the community. And that's who we are. We're a community-based organization to help out. Without the community, there is no us. Yeah. So that is our responsibility to give back to those organizations.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's pretty awesome. Now, Cleveland, you mentioned about, and I wanted to ask you about this. So with the Better Bin Company, you connected with a lot of home builders and that sort of thing. Tough crowd sometimes, potentially. They're, set in their ways. They've been doing things for a long time. How do you penetrate that market in terms of is it about creating relationships? Is it the long game? And for our listeners, I mean, the value of creating these relationships, right?
And it sounded like it wasn't maybe your initial target market to begin with either.
You know what? It wasn't our target market, but it ended up being our target market.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, most home builders, if you look back through the generation of home builders, you'll see that everything was, they're generational. Their family started and generations for generations are keeping it going. So like I say, it is that long game. You just don't walk in there and say, hey, I got a product, take this. Right. No, you got to make them believe in you. Yeah. And I always try to tell a story, and always when I'm meeting on sites with guys and things like that, I say, let's take a step back. You build this home. We entrust you to build our dream homes for us. If I'm building that $1 million home, or just say if I'm building that $300,000 home, that's my home. I believe in you. I chose you guys to build it. So why not believe in our company to help you dispose of this, responsibly? Yeah. I know if I'm building a house, me and my family, we're going to drive up and down that street. We're going to take as many pictures as we can to see the progress. We want to show everybody, I'm building this house. These are the steps. Right. You don't want that picture.
Shit everywhere.
Shit everywhere, that big metal bin out there,
really
all
point,
of that, So I try to sell it on that. Say, hey, let me provide a service that nobody else is. This family comes over here. They want to take pictures. You got this piece of equipment on site. You can pick my bin up, move it to the side. Now they have a clear picture of their house being built. Nothing's in the yard. Nothing's, thrown everywhere. It's safe. Wow. I
don't know if, maybe you should be consulting on the home building front, because I don't know how many home builders are thinking about that shit, or like the presentation of the build,
sure.
the progress of the build, and just having their trades be reasonable and clean up like as if it was your front door, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
like treat the site as if it's your home.
Yep.
And don't leave shit everywhere. It's not a very complicated concept, really.
It's not.
But it's almost embarrassing how little it's considered.
For sure. And I always say, look at the climate that we live in. We're cold about 6 to 7 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Let me help out with your trades, guys. You know, everybody doesn't like wearing that big jacket working outside. My bin, we can put it inside, frame up the house, put it inside, board up the doors. All the trash is inside now. Nothing's left outside during those winter months. You take that board down, my crane pulls it out of your house. That way, all your guys are staying warm. They enjoy coming to work. You know what? I'm finished with my job. I don't have to take all this stuff outside at the end of the day. I'm going right downstairs to the garage.
You should be
drop
charging
everything in
these
there.
guys more for the bin.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
No, like think of the value.
It's
No,
it's a value
but
to
man,
it.
but
Yeah,
when you
it's
start to
super
bring
valuable.
that value,
Yeah.
none of these home builders goes, that's a dumb idea.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
that's fucking
Yeah,
brilliant.
I know.
Like,
It is.
geez, thanks
Yeah.
for like.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Thanks, Cleveland.
Yeah.
No, we
But-
try to think of, you got to think about your customer base. I am there to help you solve a problem. The first thing I do when I go on site, I want to listen to what's your problem? What is your biggest Achilles heel?
Yeah.
Let me help you solve that. That's what I'm there for. That's what you're paying me to do, solve that problem. Let me solve it for you.
This okay, so I have a thought on this, and I'm glad we're going down this route because I was just kind of thinking about this. We were talking about this. A lot of businesses have these blind spots, right? And so I'll give, say, a restaurant as an example. So you go to a restaurant, you go in the bathroom looks like shit.
Yep.
No one's paying attention to it.
Correct.
I do because I'm a branding marketing guy. I pay attention to all the cobwebs in the corner, whatever, right?
100%.
But and it's not the business owner's fault because they're busy running their business and that sort of thing. And similarly, as we're talking about to a home builder, they're busy, man. They got a million things on their plate. But there are blind spots, right? And you need someone like Cleveland to come in and fill that blind spot. You need someone to come in and clean your bathrooms every week or every day or whatever, right? And I think that it's a good lesson, myself included as a business owner, is that like pay attention to these blind spots and allow these partners, the external partners, to come in and help you with that, right? And I mean, I think that's exactly what you're doing with the Better Bin Company, is that you're this partner who's taken away this kind of like this unseen, unknown kind of blind spot that they may not know exists until you bring it to them, and they're like, shit, I never even thought about that.
Yeah. I always say a clean site is a safe site. The cleaner
See,
it
there
can
you go
be,
again,
you
man.
cut down.
You take like you sink your claws in even further because this guy's got insurance,
They have insurance.
liability, and
WSIB is
you don't want
it's a
you don't
killer in the
no, and
construction.
you don't want anyone getting hurt on your site.
Exactly.
Like there's been some tragedies in London. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this isn't like this isn't like fictitious like sneaky little salesmanship in
For sure.
in action. It's like I understand your business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand your business. I'm not just some guy trying to sell you something.
Right.
I understand your business. And when the path in which you took to get to the insurance and liability, if they haven't signed yet,
They haven't signed it? Yeah.
they're signing now.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. Like I said, I don't want to sell you anything. I want to be a partner
Yeah.
with you. I want to work through
100%.
everything that you have. As you grow, I grow.
Yeah.
And I always tell, from real estate agents to the builders, I always say it's that same process. We all have to convince that buyer that we are the chosen one.
Yeah.
So whenever I jump down that street, there's 3-4 different builders in here.
Yeah.
If your site's the cleanest, believe me, you've got their attention.
I love
You're
it.
one step ahead of everybody else. You've got
love
their attention.
Yeah. It's so speaking of that in the company, I have a little bit of insights into this, but I want you to talk about this. You started and you grew the business with all these relationships with the builders and that sort of thing. But then also through yourself and your leadership team, you guys have pivoted into this more kind of commodity-based product, which is residential, right?
Residential.
And I think it's brilliant how you guys have essentially created another stream. It's always been there, but I know that you're really focusing more on kind of the residential side, and almost going up against like the 1-800 got junk or the other junk
for
companies,
sure.
right? Where I've had them out to my house, and it's fun. It's a great service, and you get two guys that come out. But the problem is that, or the challenge is that they come out, and again, it's a good service. I'm not knocking them, but the challenge is that I've got two guys come out in a truck, and they're going to take my junk away, but they don't really know how much it costs. And then I don't really know. And they're like, well, maybe it's this. And then before you know it, it's like $1,000. I'm like, oh shit, man. Okay. Well, I guess you're here. You're going to take my junk away. In this particular instance with the Better Bin Company, I'm in control
For sure.
as the homeowner. Can you talk a little bit about that and the residential?
I always say, right, I always tell people now, let's look at the economy that we're in right now. You know what? Everybody's very price conscious on everything we can do now. You know, I got different markets that I work with. I work with home builders, the renovators. The biggest market that is increasing now is that residential, that DIY.
Right.
YouTube and all these other channels have helped so many people say, you can do this project. So now if you can do this project, they don't tell you you can build a bin. No, I have that bin for you. While you're saving money instead of paying that other person to do the renovation and things for you, you're going to try it on your own. You and your wife, you're going to sit at home, you're going to try this on your own, whether it comes out the best or it doesn't come out good. You're going to try this because YouTube tells you, hey, I can do this. I believe in you. Follow this. So I want to provide that bin that's just for that homeowner. You know, this is easy setup. My guys, they come out, they set up everything for you. We pop it up. All you got to do is throw the stuff in
Just
there.
fill it up.
You fill it up. You know the price from the time we get off the phone with you. You know the price, taxes, everything included. $375. You call me, I won't charge you $376. You charge me $376. I'm coming back out. Give you that dollar back.
Yeah, and it's the certainty, right? It's you remove the unknown,
For sure.
you know, and it allows it removes that anxiety of like because we've been there too, and I've got the bin and I've rented the bin and it sat in the driveway and I'm like, shit, how much is this sucker gonna weigh now? I gotta, you know, like what?
Like a metal bin.
Yeah. I mean, we did, you know, in our
you guys did a huge rental.
we did a
on your
huge
house.
rental, right? And we kind of I subbed out a lot. Like I'm fortunate, I got some buddies in the trade, so you know, some
But-
pizza and beer and roll up your sleeves and just
But you
know,
went
let's
through
do
this
it.
with
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then you realize sometimes it's like, I need another bin,
Exactly.
right?
right.
You know, so
So,
but the uncertainty, it's everywhere. Have you seen these? Have you seen these feet? This clip on any of your feet? I don't know how much you guys spend on socials. I
spend way more than I should.
I'm Instagram guilty. Okay,
Instagram guilty.
but it's
Truth
these
comes out,
guys.
Scotty.
These guys, they're at a restaurant and they're like, if you talk to the restaurant, like the staff, like you talk to your home GC, your general contractor. And it's like, oh, can you do me a favor? And can you just let me know item by item based on the ingredients here? You know, are these locally sourced?
Right.
And, you know, actually my nephew Jimmy's a chef. Do you think we could get him in the kitchen and we can have him like he can do the prep work and could you give me a discount because of that?
Exactly.
And it's so funny because it's like
man.
the client base, like what they ask of these contractors.
Sure.
That's true.
Is like
They want miracles out of these.
insanity.
It is.
Insanity. Well, I saw this guy down the street and it's like, oh man. But in the context of like the restaurant, it just shows how ridiculous
It is.
it actually really is.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I mean the you know, and I think understanding your vision of identifying how the market or how the economy changed is the genius of this. And I think that again, those that are listening, the small business owners or whatever, and Scotty, you talk a lot about this, that definitive mindset. If you just stay in that definitive mindset and be like, oh, we're only for
home builders,
you know, home builders, without having that awareness and looking around and being like, oh wait, there's other opportunities here. I think that's a good lesson for any business owner, right? Is that yeah, stay in your lane, but always be aware of how you can pivot your service, your product, whatever that might be. You might probably find a few other revenue sources, revenue streams that your product
sure.
can align with, I would imagine.
For sure. You have to be open to growth and change. You know, I always take it back to how we had this guy that sold fishing rods back home.
Yeah.
And so all his fishing rods, they were left-handed. And they were for a left-handed person. My dad walks in and he wants to buy one. And he said, my dad said,
This isn't
but I'm
real.
right-handed. The guy says, once you buy it, all you got to do is turn it upside down. That's right-handed. You do whatever you want to. He says, but I'm going to sell you this product. You do whatever you want to. So you got to be willing to change and adapt to different things. And I always look back at that guy and I said, man, that guy was a genius. He said, just turn it over. That's right-handed.
There you go, man.
You do whatever
Just,
you want to.
know,
So
look
Well,
at it differently. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I think the thread to keep pulling a little bit more there is what's your story? What's the story that you can tell that solves the problem that they don't even know they maybe even have,
they have.
right?
Yeah,
It's not necessarily like you're showing them a new path that maybe didn't exist to them before.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And by showing them that path, by telling the right story, like that's how you get clients for life. Man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
The future is changing. These homes now, we're running out of space. We have to almost like those big bins won't fit in these complexes anymore. So
Yeah.
mine fits
Right.
in that single lane
Right.
driveway,
Yeah.
things like this. These homes
Yeah.
are so much closer now because we're running out of space that you can't get a big 20 or 40 yard in anymore.
Yeah.
Now you need my bin to fit in there and I can get the job
Awesome,
done
man.
for you.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey guys, Ryan here. As many of you know, I own Momentum 360 Marketing, a digital marketing agency. We specialize in SEO and AEO. Many of you know what SEO is, search engine optimization. However, what's come on now is this thing called AEO, answer engine optimization. What is AEO? It's long form discoverability conversations that people are having with AI platforms. We're able to tap into these conversations, allow you to control the narrative, and tap into an SEO and a powerful AEO that will help you drive traffic and help you become more discoverable in the AI platforms. If you want to learn more, hit me up or go to momentum360.ca. Happy to share and educate you on what AEO is these days.
Momentum 360 marketing. Get seen, get found, get moving.
Okay, I want to talk about the London Chamber of Commerce
For sure.
because I feel like you're part of this kind of younger, well, you're younger than me, so I'll call you young, but this kind of younger generation of entrepreneurs, this really influential group, you know, Megan Terz, like we've had a few
Yeah.
on. And you're just you're infusing this energy into London, Ontario, into our system. You've joined the London Chamber of Commerce, and I think there's been quite a switch there with like Depeche and yourself, and this kind of new energy that really gets me excited for our city. And I'm glad that you're part of this. Whether whether you identify that you're part of this or not, I think you are. Can you talk about that and like the London Chamber of Commerce, how you've joined, what your role is there, and you know why that is, you know, an exciting thing for our city?
Yeah. So last year I sat on the community advisory board. So I was just a community advisor on that. This year I was able to make it to the board, so join the board. And
Nice.
this is a great learning experience for me. I'm getting to sit next to business owners that have been in it for years.
Yeah.
They understand the dynamics of it, but they also are very open to adjusting to the new environment that we're living in now.
Good.
So that's where I'm learning more. I wanted to see how everything flows in the city that I live in.
Yeah.
How can I help this city get to the next level and build and keep going? You know, if a
Nice.
city just stays the same, we're not adapting. We're falling light years behind.
Yeah.
Things change so fast. So that was one of the biggest reasons of joining the London Chamber. I wanted to hear what other businesses are facing, especially the downtown core.
Yes.
They're facing so many challenges right
Yeah.
now. And to be able to sit front row and hear those challenges, you can't get a better experience there.
Yeah.
You know, homelessness in our city. They're working with the police officers to help homeless. They're working with mental health units. They're working with nurses that are out on the streets, that are walking up and down this. They're helping these residents. I'm able to get firsthand at that to say, you know what, this business did it this way. Let me see if I can help out this small business that doesn't know about the chamber right now. Let me get them involved in it. Let me help them out. Or if I know somebody starting up a business, hey, let me guide you into an organization that we're here for you.
Yeah.
And they've been great, from Graham down there to Depeche to all of the people that sit on that board. They have been amazing by just guiding us and teaching us that next level.
That's awesome.
So, excuse me, there's a couple things in there that I want to talk about. First off, you're going in with a like a learning mindset, right? You know that there's an opportunity for you to learn something new. The other side of it that's, I think, just as important is that these folks who are already on the board, the tenured cats, so to speak, are open to new ideas. What an amazing concept. And this is part of, and not to take away from the chamber, but I'm also interested in your perspective from like minor sports aspect of things, because in my experience, there's a lot of old guard in doing things a certain way because they've always been done a certain way.
For sure.
And unfortunately, I think it's impacting the customer, which in the sports world are the families who are spending the money for their kids to go out there. But I love that they're open to new ideas, because there's a humble recognition there that, like, we don't have it all figured out. Shit has changed. There are different ways to look at things. Like, we have to be open to adapt or die. If you're not growing, you're dying.
You die.
Right.
Yes,
And so that's what I love kind of about your side, coming in as a learner. You're not coming in there going, I'm going to show these guys how to do all this new shit.
Yeah.
Not at all. You're not coming in hot. You're not
No.
coming in like with a bulldozer, knocking everybody down in your way. You're like, these folks know something I don't, and I can learn from them. But at the same time, because of my openness, I'm going to teach them something.
Well, you can challenge, and I think you're really good at this. I've seen you do this, like where you absorb, Scotty, like what you're saying, how it's been done, and then you can slowly ask questions. Well, why?
Why?
Like, all you got to do is ask why.
That's it.
And that allows some more doors to open, right? Where you can now infuse your new energy. And that's what gets me excited about, yourself and Depeche and these others, that I'm just so pumped, man, that you guys are there. And I know you're going to be challenging the kind of status quo.
For sure. We want to see things grow. And like I said, that was the biggest thing. Seeing the guys that have been there for years, the older presidents come back into some of the meetings, and just to hear their opinions on things and how it has changed and evolved. Yeah. That's what I'm there for. I don't know it all. I want to be a student of this. You have to learn to excel. If you walk in there and think, hey, I did this, I'm proven. No, you will never grow. You'll cap out. You will never grow. You'll never evolve to when things change, because they're changing, and they're changing fast. And if you don't learn and become a student of something, you'll fall behind.
Yeah. No, it's
you ask better questions when you want to learn, right? You're not pushing an agenda. Love that, man.
For sure.
What do you think? And I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole. I probably don't
go
have
for
time,
it.
But a little bit. I mean, when it comes to London, right? We're all Londoners. We love our city. We have our kids, our families here, that sort of thing. What is it about London? And you've traveled a lot. You've seen a lot of cities. You've seen, and from the U.S. to Canada. I love London. I think there's a ton of opportunity. I do think that we have our challenges, like any city, obviously. But what is it about London that we can be excited about? And I mean, you're the perfect guy to talk about, because London majors, you talk to so many different people.
For sure. I look at London as, and if you go back and see any of my interviews from when I first got here, I said this from the beginning. London is a growing city. Everybody here just hasn't figured that out yet. We are growing. We're growing fast. We're so diverse here, but everybody hasn't clicked into it yet.
I know.
We are going to be, and you can quote me on this, we are going to be the next biggest, closest city to mimic what Toronto is doing as far as a large city soon.
Nice.
Watch what I tell you. It's so many businesses coming here from the London Economic Development, what they're doing to bring these international businesses here to help our city grow. Things like that people don't look at every day. You know, every major city is going to face challenges.
Yeah.
One thing that I believe, just an outsider looking in, coming from that big city, we hide some of these challenges instead of going ahead and address them. And I know from Mayor Josh Morgan to previous mayors to any future mayors that come.
Yeah.
I think we have to understand one person cannot change that.
Yeah.
No matter who sits in that seat, nobody's going to be able to make everything right and perfect. It takes time. It's going to take a community for all of us to do this together. He's not going to clear up homelessness overnight. I read some of these blogs and stuff, and I'm like, man, one man can't do this alone. It's going to take all of these businesses, all of these residents to come together and say, hey, you know what? Let's figure out what the root of the problem is. Let's work together little by little, solve this. You know, our housing issue. We're going to solve this. It's going to take some time. Those guys are going to get there, you know?
Yeah.
I got a good friend of mine, Adam Carapella, Tricar.
Yeah.
I listen to him talk about certain things and say, you know what? It's going to take time.
Yeah.
We're going to get there, but they're advocating and doing the right things to help the city get there.
Yeah.
Us as the residents, we have to be patient. Nothing changes overnight.
Well, or get off your ass and
And
join
do
the
so.
fucking
That's
party.
it. Join the fight to help this.
Yeah.
Don't fight against them. Join the fight to help the city grow. Our kids are going to grow up here. We got to do better as a community to make this that place that we want to be. Everybody has that vision. Let's help us get to that vision. Let's help make that vision come true.
Stop writing a goddamn blog post bitching
That's
about
it.
it,
I know.
That's
and
it.
get off your ass and raise your hand to help.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
join in on the action.
Well,
right?
and there's always going to be that, but I mean, you have these guys like Cleveland who, you know, you lead by example. Like you're out there grinding on the front lines, business cares, all this. Like, so fuck, man. Like when you're talking, like you're giving me goosebumps when you're talking like that, because I'm like, damn, yeah, we got a guy that he knows what's up, and I know there's more, and it just gives me a lot of, you know, encouragement to hear you say these things, because it's like, dude, you know, you could be doing a lot of different things. You could be, you don't have to be in London, Ontario. You can be anywhere you want, but you've chosen to be here, and we're so grateful you're here, and it's so awesome to know that there's leaders like you that are, you're not just talking, you're actually doing, right? And there needs to be more of that.
You gotta want to try.
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
That's what I tell everybody, and like I tell my son, try. Just go out there and try. Do not sit back.
Try
behind
something
that
one
computer.
step, right?
That's
You don't have to be the one on the front of the picket
That's
line.
it. No, but
right?
just
Like
join that
you
line.
don't have to
Join it.
handcuff yourself to a tree.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you can like volunteer as a coach and like
That's it.
get on the field and help make some
Change.
kid love the ball game or
That's it.
love the rink or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Just something. Just get off your butt and do
Yeah,
something.
I always say in London, our biggest thing is we talk about some of these lower income communities. Let's get out there and help them.
Yeah, man.
Let's get out there
100%.
and help
Yeah.
them. My biggest thing is seeing kids struggle. People
Mm-hmm.
will tell you, if you call me with a kids organization and I see you struggling, I'm going to find a way to help you out.
Yeah.
I'm going to find a way.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a kid struggle because that kid does not have the help and the resources that we as adults have.
Yeah.
Why can't we get out there and change some of these programs? There's
Mm-hmm.
enough of us. There's enough funds around. There's enough help. There's enough knowledge out here
Yeah.
that as business owners, as business leaders, as regular people, if we come together, we can make a change and we can prove to the world that London, Ontario, we're here. We're here to stand. We can do this together and make this city better.
You know, man, I think that I think a lot about this, and I think a big part of empowering people, not to just make it about business and entrepreneurship, but is access, and by that I mean access to knowledge, to understanding. There's a lot of people that are just stuck.
Yeah.
And they don't have access. I've been fortunate to have access to a network. You know, I think the three of us, we have that access. We can reach out to people. but I think we take for granted. A lot of people might not have access. So if we're able to unlock access and create a path or guide someone down that path, that might unlock a ton of stuff. And I think about that a lot, where it's like, you can give someone money or give them a grant or whatever, but give them access to a network and give them access to, understanding or education of like maybe entrepreneurship, starting a side business, side gig. I think that might unlock a lot of things for us.
I always tell it, the key to it is be available. If somebody calls you,
right?
be available.
Well, and
Yeah,
this is
that,
it goes right back to what you said
Yeah.
earlier. Back, when you were growing up as a kid and you were taught to like help your neighbor with the grass or the groceries.
Yeah.
Right. You can find the access.
That's it.
It's everywhere around you. But if you're in your own little bubble and you don't say hi to somebody on the street, right, or you don't hold the elevator door for somebody, right, or you don't shovel the driveway, like you're restricting your own access. Like it's all around you. But by having a service mindset,
That's it.
doors will open for you everywhere.
Everywhere.
Sure. They'll open for you everywhere.
Yeah.
For sure. You just gotta I always tell people, and I tell my son this: put a smile on your face when you walk into the world.
Yeah.
Put a smile on your
Into
face.
the world.
Yeah.
Into the world, man. Put a smile on your face. You
Dude.
can change so much.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny, and I know we're kind of closing out here, but it's kind of full circle. We're involved in a networking group, Cleveland and I, and we were touring the Humane Society the other day, and there you are, smiling and that sort of thing. And you and I were kind of walking, and I'm like, "Hey man, how's it going? Hey Cleve, how's it going?" You're like, "I'm tired, man." I'm like, but then you put on a smile, and I'm like, "Fuck, Cleveland can be tired. He's human, right?" But there you are, man, putting on a smile, and I'm like, that's like like that. Those little moments teach me, that okay, well, Cleveland can have a day where he's tired. He's allowed that, but at the same time, you're putting on a smile, and you're still connecting. And I don't know, when you said that, just kind of reminded me. So yeah, man, like very positive influence for sure.
You know what I learned? I listened to a lot of different podcasts, a lot of different influential people talking.
Yeah.
And I said, we got one powerful tool in the world now.
Yeah.
These cell phones here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One powerful tool. I've been trying to make it my job and duty that people I haven't talked to in a while, send them one text message and just say, hey, I hope your day's going well. How you doing? Or, you're going to make it through this. I don't know what they're going through, but I just want to send them that, hey, man, haven't talked to you in a while. I hope your day's going better.
Yeah.
You never know what that just triggered. They want to hear, man, somebody cares about me. Somebody wants to know how I'm doing today or just checking up on somebody. We smile, but behind that smile, man, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But it's how you treat. And again, I have this experience with you because, my company's helping, build you a new website and that sort of thing, which is great. But every time you email, Kirk or one of my employees or people or whatever, you do always start that way. I notice that even in emails, even if you're like, you got to get this fucking thing done.
I hope your day's going well.
Yeah. Hey guys,
thank you for everything that you do.
By the way,
can you fucking get this done? But it sets the tone and it allows even like you're treating, vendors in a very respectful way. And that goes such a long way, man. Like, I think it's easy for us just to jump all over people and be like, hey, just, can you fucking do this? Like, can you get this done? Like, instead of taking the time being like, I do actually hope you're having a good day, but also let's get this done.
Let's get this done. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah.
That's life.
I love that you've been going through those old texts.
Yeah.
A little networking hack for anyone out there that I use, and maybe not often as I should. I call it the graveyard scroll. So you go into your inbox or you go into your text thread and you just hammer the scroll. You keep going. You just
keep going, man.
Right? There's someone down there
that
you haven't talked to in a long time. And you just write, hey, hope you're well. No rush to reply if you're busy. But when you have a minute, love to catch up and hear what you're working on.
Yeah.
And then you leave it like that. It's out of, there's no expectation for them to respond. You're just reaching out. You're just saying hello. Yeah. Right. And maybe when they're not so busy, they'll reach out and you don't know what conversation that presents itself to and what door it might open. So if you're looking to, re-energize your network, just
love it.
Get the scroll going.
Yeah. That's it, man. Reach out, see how they're doing.
Yeah. Well, boys, I think, I don't know. We checked all my boxes anyways. I
Well, we
think.
could do this for hours.
I know. Yeah, for sure. But Cleve's he's got shit to do, man.
Yeah.
He's
Man,
got,
you know what? Anytime
yeah.
you guys want to bring me back,
Yeah.
I would love to
Awesome.
come back.
Absolutely,
Talk
man.
about regular things in life,
Yeah.
talk about business.
No.
I'm open, man. I am open. I'd like to help people. I'd like to see what we can, as a community, what we can solve and everything. And the only thing that I say, from Atlanta, I got to take this shot at you guys, that I can't solve is, you got me in here. He has on a Blue Jays hat. I can't solve what they're doing right now. There's nothing the community can do to solve that, because my Braves are in first place right now. And last year, I always say last year doing that little, what they call that run that the Blue Jays are on. I was over at a little party. Everybody was cheering the Jays on. Then when it changed, I think me and my son had to quietly just walk out of the house because I saw the faces going up. I said, I think it's your bedtime. Let's go ahead and sneak out the back door. We're not even gonna say bye to everybody, but
No, that I was stunned quietly in my seat for a moment when my heart was broken again.
Shit, man.
But you know what? I will say this. I know you're still big ball guy in the community.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more little kids playing ball this year.
It is. It changed the culture of baseball in Canada.
Incredible.
For the best. This is, with the Tin Caps organization, this is the most teams they ever had since they've started.
Awesome.
We added on, I
So
think,
say
almost
what you
20
will about the Blue
teams.
Jays, Cleveland.
I know.
Oh shit, man. I love it. Well, hey, and on that too, I mean, you're playing another season, right?
Yeah, they got me out there. When they saw it post
guy.
up, I told everybody, I was like, this AI is out of control. I don't know who this guy is. But you know what? I'm glad
It's
to be.
not AI.
It's not
man.
AI.
Shit.
I'm glad to be
that's
back out there. I
awesome.
kind of lowered. They asked me for my weight. It was like, Lee, how much you weigh? I was like, I'm gonna put 6'4", 270. That means I'm solid. And it's like 270. Like, Lee, you're way over 270. I was like, listen, 270. And let's say,
Don't worry
Put it down.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just a
that's
solid
awesome, man.
brick here walking in.
Oh man.
Awesome. Well, yeah, like London Majors, the Better Bin Company, the
London Cares.
Business Cares, London Chamber of Commerce. I mean, you're everywhere, dude. So continued success with everything you're doing. It's great to have you in the city as a leader, and man, you're really inspiring. So continue to do that out there. I mean, I'll be seeing you a lot anyways in our networking group and that sort of thing. So you inspire me almost daily, but it's good for our audience to really get to know you a little bit more from, the business point of view, the community point of view. And yeah, man, thanks for coming on. It's been a blast. For
I
sure.
Appreciate you,
everything,
man.
man.
Thanks, brother.
Good. All
Thank
right,
you,
good.
man. I
That's a
really
wrap.
appreciate
All right,
this.
man. Yeah, that's a wrap. Another great episode. Thanks for joining us. Please support our podcast. By supporting us, you can go to YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, go to our website, hustleandgrindpod.com. That way you can go and you can apply to be a guest. Listen to us anywhere that you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple, all the channels. But we really appreciate your support. Keep listening. We have a lot of great episodes and a lot of great guests ready to go. We're going to keep coming hard at you here and digging into the hustle and grind of what it takes to be an entrepreneur and a business owner.